Hi everyone, my name is Mary Weinberg and I'm a 2008 Olympic gold medalist, former educator, entrepreneur, and author. But most importantly, I am a proud graduate of the University of Cincinnati, class of 2002. I'm so excited and thankful to be here with you all tonight. I want to thank the Lambda Society for inviting me to be your special guest at your Night of Champions.
Thank you, Mary. Did you ever think you'd be in this position today?
You know, I don't think that I thought at the time when I was a student athlete here at the University of Cincinnati that I would be sitting here in this seat being able to talk to each and every one of you today. I never saw my life, ending in this huge ability to have accomplishments and to have a day named after me, to be an Olympic gold medalist, to be an entrepreneur, to be an author. So to answer your question very quickly, no, I never saw myself being able to be in this position. And I think the things that really ended up motivating me to work for this was just the ability to prove to others and the ability to reach my potential. There were so many different things for me growing up that hindered my ability to believe in myself. But there was one thing that I had to learn, is that I can accomplish anything that I put my mind to.
So tell me, what was your experience like at UC?
I had a great experience in UC. I started at the University of Cincinnati in 1998. And coming out of high school and becoming a freshman in college, it's a huge deal. And I think for me, I knew that I wanted to come to the University of Cincinnati. I knew I had what it took to get onto the track team. And I was so thankful to be able to gain a scholarship. It was helpful to my mother. She didn't have to pay for school, and it allowed me to be the first person in my family, my immediate family, to attend college. So, there were challenges. There were things that were difficult and hard, especially coming from a household where my mother she didn't finish high school, and she didn't attend college. But she instilled in me that academics and an education is very important. So when I think back to the days of walking around on campus, introducing myself to others, making and meeting new friends, talking to my professors, taking my classes, ensuring that, I'm passing them and doing well, I can say that I had a well-rounded education and experience. I got to meet so many different groups. I joined my sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I was able to excel on the track as a student athlete, but most of all, I was able to find out who Mary Weinberg is and who she was at that time.
Now, what are some of the hardships you faced in life, and how did you overcome those?
As a young girl, I had a lot of things going on in my life. I wasn't able to be raised by my birth mother. She was unable to care for me at the age of 16, which resulted in me, having to live with another family member. And that family member, who actually wasn't even blood related to me, ended up being a blessing in disguise. This particular woman, and when I say this woman, she was a godsend. She was able to care for me, she was able to nurture me, she was able to give me opportunities, and she was able to instill so many values and life lessons. And I'm excited that I was able to have that opportunity in that childhood, because with the hardships that I had encountered, you would think that the difficulties would have discouraged me. It would have given me despair. It would have given me anxiety. It would have, really hindered my mindset. But it did give me some, things here or there where I had doubt. But I was able to overcome that doubt and know that I could be successful.
How did those things motivate you as a person, a student, an athlete, in your career and life?
Wow, that's a long list, student athlete, now into my profession, to everything. I think those hardships made me stronger. It allowed me to realize that sometimes things are going to be very hard and very difficult, but it's about how you figure things out. It's about how you pick yourself up when you fail. It's about how you look at things and the light that you look at them in. I could have sat back and said, oh, my life is going to be in a bad situation because I don't have the person who gave birth to me. I could have said that, college is going to be difficult because I'm the first in my family to go to college. But instead, I utilized resources, the resources on campus. I utilized my coaches. I utilized my friends. And most of all, I utilized the ability to know that anything is possible, and I was going to make sure that I was going to secure my goal and realize my potential.
So what's it like to be an Olympian, to compete in the Olympic Games?
That is a good question. You know, in 2004, when I was watching the Olympic Games, I wanted to be an Olympian. I didn't know what it was going to take. I didn't know that it was going to require so much intense training. I just thought you could just snap your fingers and the magic would happen. But for me, becoming an Olympian and becoming an Olympic gold medalist, it was long years of training, perseverance, dedication, making sacrifices, and realizing that I had that ability. So when I became an Olympian, I knew that I could conquer the world. And I've always known that I could conquer the world, but I think that having that ability of getting onto that line, starting in the race of the 4x4, being able to pass the baton on to my teammates and seeing us succeed, I think that was the deal closer for me. It showed me that anything is possible. Little old Mary from Cincinnati, Ohio, was able to rise to the occasion. And she not only made history, but also made history here at the University of Cincinnati.
So who was your inspiration?
You know, I had lots of inspiration, and I had inspiration in different stages of my life. Of course, when I was in elementary school, I had my teachers were my inspiration. When I moved on to college, I had professors and coaches who were my inspiration. I had individuals from church who served as an inspiration, women who guided me and mentored me, and even introduced me to my sorority. And it made me, think when I got to college, wow, I want to be one of those women. I had lots of inspiration, but when I think about track, I would say a lot of the great athletes, Wilma Rudolph, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, Gail Devers, those individuals served as inspiration because it showed me that they had hardships, but they learned how to overcome their hardships. And now for me, I feel like I definitely am an inspiration to many, and I want to share my story and share everything with everyone so that they know that yes, Mary is human. She may have made some mistakes, she may have had some hardships, but she was able to pick herself up and keep moving.
So what advice would you give your college self being in the position you're in now?
Oh, my college self. In college we do things, we say things, we act a certain type of way, and sometimes it's a journey that you must go through. And I think that if I went back in time, I would tell myself to not be so nervous and to believe in yourself. I was very nervous in college. I doubted my ability both on the track and off the track. I didn't think that I was a strong enough person. I wasn't confident. I didn't have that confidence that would say, or that would allow me to walk into a room. And now that I've matured, I've learned so much about myself. But I would give myself the advice to not be afraid, Mary, and to own who you are.
How would you say you uphold the pillars of a Lambda woman, service, unity, womanhood, and justice?
I feel like I uphold all of those standards, and I'm going to go through each of them. For me, service is very important to me. I learned at a very young age to give back to your community, to give back to those who don't have as much as you have. And I learned in college through my sorority to service to all mankind. And I've even continued that on now, even as an adult. I try to make sure that I'm constantly giving back, whether it's to youth or different organizations, but service is very important to me. I share with my two daughters that service is key. To be a good person, I think you need to do service. The next pillar that I would say that applies would be womanhood. For me, being an African-American woman, and also being the first African-American woman to win a gold medal at the University of Cincinnati, it's such a high honor. I think all women need to come together and promote each other. It's called women empowerment. And I am a big, big person who's very passionate about that. When I think about the next pillar, which is justice, for me being an educator, I want to provide justice to all of my students. I want to provide justice to everyone that I meet. I want to make sure that everyone is treated fair and that they feel the fairness each and every single day. And then the very last pillar, remind me, what was that?
Unity.
Unity, of course, unity. Unity is very important for everyone. Everyone needs to come together. And I think on a campus such as the University of Cincinnati, especially known to be a PWI, unity I found not to be a problem. I had a whole, diverse group of friends. We all got together, we all got along, we all were able to come together for solutions to problems. And I think that these pillars are very important. And I hope that each and every one of you, you're able to resonate with, if not all of them, one in particular.
So in Cincinnati, September 21st is Mary Weinberg Day. What does it feel like to have a day named after you?
To have a day named after me was a huge honor to be given by the city of Cincinnati. And on September 21st, I vowed that every year that I celebrate, that is going to be a day of service for me, a day of service for me to give back and to just be thankful for the blessings that I was able to have, the opportunities that I was able to have, and to be able to give that back to others so that they too can see that they can do something similar if they put their minds to it, if they put their hearts to it, and if they're very passionate. So to have a day is a huge, not only it gives me joy, but it also gives me excitement to know that I'm able to share that with others.
Now, what inspired you to write and publish not one book, but 2 books?
I have different stories for both of those books and different reasons of why I wrote them. I'm going to start off with my autobiography, Unwavering Perseverance, An Olympic Gold Medalist Finds Peace. I wrote that book because my best friend, which was a friend from college, told me to share my story. And at first I didn't understand what she meant by that, because I'm thinking, I don't want to share all of my secrets with everyone, because then they'll know all about my downfalls and all about the things that I'm not proud of or embarrassed by. And I realized that there was nothing to be embarrassed of. I had to share my story, and that is why I wrote my autobiography. So hopefully you all can check it out, and you can be able to get an insight into who I was as a young child, growing up, developing, and then becoming an Olympic gold medalist. As a teacher, I experienced second graders, and I taught second grade for 10 years. And I engaged with them each and every day. I was the role model for them. I was the person who was responsible for them academically, socially, and mentally. And I found that my kids struggled with losing. I wanted to prove to them that losing is okay. Look at the person sitting in this chair. I lost a lot of races when I started competing as a professional athlete. And although it made me very sad, I had to learn how to come up with a different game plan, how to figure it out, how to make it into an accomplishment. And those are some of the reasons of why I decided to become an author and share a story for adults, and then to also share a story for children.
Now, I've got to imagine it's stressful being a public figure. What keeps you motivated to deal with that?
Yeah, as an elected official, it's hard work. I'm currently serving on the Cincinnati School Board. I had to run a campaign. I had to get the voters of Cincinnati to trust in me and to vote for me. And at times it's difficult because you always want to please each and every person. You want to make everything that they request of you right, or you want to be able to do it. And I've had to sit back and learn that I can't please everybody. And I have to be okay with that. As long as I know that I'm doing my best job and I'm putting my best foot forward for the students of Cincinnati Public Schools, then I can be at peace with myself and I can be happy. So I find that whenever I'm stressed, I take deep breaths. Sometimes I go for a walk, sometimes I'd like to go for a run, or sometimes I read, or sometimes I just sit and think, and I think about ways to improve other situations.
How did your community at UC foster success as a woman of color in the Olympics?
I would say that my community was embracing, especially my neighborhood growing up as a young child. They embraced the fact after they found out that I had made it to the Olympics. But most of all, I'm going to talk about the University of Cincinnati. They have always been one of my #1 fans. I'm going to say I had lots of #1 fans. But they've always embraced me here at the university, allowing me to still train here. They, even acknowledged the fact of being the first African-American female to win a gold medal. I've always felt welcome. I've always felt appreciated. And I've always respected the fact of them, asking for me to come back to give back. And as you all have done today, you asked me to come and give inspiring words and to share my story. And that makes me happy. That gives me joy to be able to share with each and every one of you.
Is there any advice from a coach that has stuck with you the most throughout your career?
I've gotten lots of different advice from my coaches. I'm going to talk about two coaches in this particular question. The coach who trained me for the Olympics was my college coach. He was an amazing, amazing individual. And I would say Jim Schnur, Coach Schnur is what I would call him. He gave me inspiration to know that I could accomplish things. He would tell me, Mary, you can do this, even when I didn't think that I could. Even when I thought that it was impossible, he believed in me and allowed me to see the belief and the potential in myself. And the coach who trained me in 2004, when I didn't make my first Olympic Games, his name was Brooks Johnson. He's no longer with us. But he taught me that as you're training and you're getting to that race day, when you step onto the track and you get to the line, don't change anything. What got you there will keep you there. And so I want to give each and every one of you a big piece of advice, I guess I would say. And my advice to all of you is to remember the pillars of Lambda. Remember those pillars, embody those pillars, and be the best woman that you can be.